Am I audible? Vignesh, Vijay Sarthi, Siddharth, Shivani. All right. So I requested you please turn on your cameras for the session to be more effective. And I hope most of the joinees are from class 12th. So the people from class 12th must be dealing with a little anxiety. We can call it like positive anxiety, the eustress of the examination, just forthcoming in I think not in a month now, but in a few days. So this session would be to lower down, just to moderate that anxiety. A little anxiety is needed, right, to be on our feet for the preparation, but not more. So we'll be so through this session we'll be lessening that anxiety. We'll be having a more structured approach in these final days towards our preparation, right? So that we can score to our maximum potential, right? So people are still coming. So please turn on your cameras. We are about to start the session. So let me first introduce myself. So my name is Hitesh Jindal, right? I'm a physics teacher, right? I've been teaching physics for a very long time, about 13 to 14 years. I've been teaching physics, and I have mentored, I have taught a lot of students for this JEE Advanced, JEE Mains, and a lots of students studying and even have passed out from the prestigious institutions of India like IITs and NITs, DTU, right? Many more institutions, and they are like having successful journeys they are living now. And I myself have this qualified IIT JEE, JEE Advanced in 2009, and is a pass out from IIT Dhanbad in electronics and communication engineering. Teaching is my passion, so that's why I'm in this industry, and I'm mentoring a lots of students right now and have mentored a lot. So also I've specialized in the CBSE preparation, like how to go about it and how to score to our maximum potential. The thing is to score to our maximum potential. Our anxieties, our wrong strategies should not lead to, like we are doing hard work, but if the strategy is not correct, right? And if we are, right, we have this overwhelming feeling, right? What will happen? How will I do it? What kind of questions will come, right? So that is due to lack of proper planning, lack of proper, like, not doing your preparation according to the syllabus, right? And listening to people and all these things, right? So right now you need to be in your zone, right? You need to stick to the syllabus and to the NCRTs, and whatever you have done in this past year, you'll be like finishing it now. You'll be revising it now. Revision is the most crucial aspect, right? So that's all about me. So I think that most of the students are from class 12th and will be seeing this examination ahead of you in a few days. So let's start the session. So I'll please request you to please turn on your cameras for the session to be more effective, so that I'll be also able to know that if you're getting what I'm saying and or not. If you're busy with something, that's fine, but I'll advise you to please open up your cameras. All right. So let's start the session. So in this session today, we'll be dealing with the foundations of physics, right? So physics is a very crucial subject, right? Whether it is with regards to, right now, our discussion would be focused on CBSE preparation, right? But yes, physics is equally important, right? And for, if you are going for JEE, if you are going for even NEET, right? And if I'm telling you, like, for JEE mains, NEET, and CBSE, the level of preparation required is almost the same, right? So if my preparation for my CBSE examination is fine, is good, right? I can say if it is good, if it is aligned with the NCRT, right? If it is aligned with the NCRT, all the exercises, right? And the relevant questions, all the related questions at par, at the level of CBSE, then I'm very much comfortable with JEE Mains also and with NEET also, right? So similar preparation is required. But in this session, our focus would be on CBSE, right? What points to keep in mind? So in this session, in this webinar, it is an introductory webinar. We'll be dealing with different topics, the detailing of different topics like electromagnetism, the optics. We'll be dealing with them in the coming webinars. But right now, we'll be dealing with the important points to be kept in mind for the overall preparation, for the holistic preparation required, right? So we'll be taking up your questions and answers. So I request you to please have your pen and paper and just write down the important points to be kept in mind. This would be a very helpful session for you, right? The syllabus you have learned, everything you have done, right? And you might be doing the revision part is being going on, but some important points we'll be dealing with today will be very helpful in your examination, right? So in this chapter, mostly we'll be dealing with the key concepts, right? So you see, there are some core topics are there, right? Core topics. So what do I mean by core topics? Core topics means which has high probability of coming in the examination, right? High probability of coming in the examination. High probability topics, right? 90% probability is there that that the question from this topic will definitely come. So in the last phase, right, we are in the last phase of preparation. So in the last phase, to lesser down, to lower down our anxieties, we should focus on the core topics first, right? I hope that you have done the whole syllabus, but right now the revision also should be of the core topics. And then when I'm very much satisfied with my preparation of the core topics, then I can look for the peripherals, right? So we'll be looking at, so I'll be telling you, and in the coming webinars also we'll be discussing the core topics. We'll be revising the core topics only, right? And I'll be telling you that what is the difference between what are the core topics in this particular chapter and what are the peripheral topics, right? Which has lower probability of coming, right? So in this webinar, we'll be dealing with the key concepts, the core topics required to be studied. Then we'll be talking about the marking scheme, right? You must be aware of, you might be aware of the marking scheme, you might be aware of, right, these sections, how the examination is, like the pattern of the examination, right? What kind of questions, short answers, how many short questions are there, how many long questions are there, right? How many MCQs are there, right? So we'll be dealing with the marking scheme, right? So we'll be dealing with the marking scheme here. Then we'll be talking about the pattern
So
of
will
the
this
exam.
PDF be shared in the groups?
I'll share it, no issues. I'll share it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. The pattern of the examination, right? The pattern of examination, right? And then most importantly, the importance of presenting your answer. You might be having a very strong concept of any topic, right? You might be dealing with JEE advanced level or Olympiad level questions. But if you're not presenting your answer correctly, if you're not drawing the diagram associated, right, if you're not doing it with a very good handwriting and right, the presentation part is very important with regard to CBSE. So importance of presentation, right? We'll be dealing with that, the marking scheme, the pattern, the weightage of different topics, right? The weightage also we'll be talking about today, right? So let's start. And any other question, if you have in your mind, you are free to ask me. And in the coming webinars, I'll be taking the detailing of different topics. You just keep your questions in your notebook, and when the time arises, you please ask. All right. So you see, so you obviously know that the types of questions, right? What are the types of questions that come in your CBSE examination? So there would be like objective questions. You can see there will be objective questions. You will get MCQs, right? MCQs. How many marks? Anyone knows? Can you please reply? Can you please tell me how many marks of MCQs?
So 16, right?
16 MCQs are there and 1 mark each, right? So we should be
Yeah, yeah.
knowing that 1 mark each. Very scoring. You see, this is a very scoring part, and because if you are very sure that yes, my 16 marks is uh, that will be sure. So you should be sure about those 16 marks, right? Very scoring section this MCQs is, right? But it should not. But you should not give it. It is only 16 marks. You see, so you can say that it is something about around 20%, right? Around 20% of your paper. So you should not give more than, you can say, more than 45 minutes. Also, time management is very important, right? You should not leave any question, right? You have to write something because this is CBSE, there's no negative marking. So you have to write something, or right. So 16 marks. So you should not give more than 45 minutes. I'll advise 45 minutes or 30 minutes, right? 30 to 45 minutes is sufficient in this section, right? MCQ. So this is known as objective. Then we have short questions, short answer type, right? Short answer type. And the short answer type questions might appear in your 2 marker also, 3 marker also, and 5 marker also. In 5 markers also, there are subsections. There are sub A, B, C, D, right? So this short answer type you'll find in 2 marker, 3 marker, 5 marker. And then we have long answer type, right? And the questions, you'll see that they are divided in three parts, I'll say. Questions are of three types. One is theoretical, right? One is related to theory, right? What kind of questions? Like define. So you can have question of define current density. Like this was the question in 2024. 2024, we have this question of define current density, right? So this was in 2 marker, right? Define current density. So definition type of questions, right? Or you can have the theoretical part is like drawbacks of Rutherford's model. So this was also the question of uh, this 2024, the previous drawbacks of Rutherford model, right? I am just giving you some examples, the kind of questions uh, we'll be having in our examination. Drawbacks of Rutherford's model, or limitations of Bohr's model, right, from the atoms chapter. So theoretical questions we'll get, right? So those theoretical questions can be in 2 marker, 3 marker, or 5 marker, even in 5 marker. Because in 5 marker, we'll have A part, we'll have B part, we'll have C part, right? So I'll also make you see one 2024 exam today, right? The previous year paper, I'll just make you, you just see it. We'll solve it in the coming webinars. We'll solve it also. But today I'll just, you just have a look at it, right? Just to be, just to have like aware that how the examination is coming, right? Then theoretical, right? Then is numerical, right? Numerical questions are there, right? If it will define current density, an associated question the examiner will give related to its numerical. It will give you the area, right? It will give you the area, it will give you the current, it will ask you the current density. We know current density is J is equal to current by current per unit area. This is current density, right? So numerical can come associated with it. So numerical questions. And thirdly, very important, are derivations, right? So all the questions can be divided in these three categories: theoretical, numerical, and derivations, right? And derivations are the, we all will also be covering this in this webinar, that the important derivations, what are the important derivations, I'll be telling you also in the coming webinars, but today also. So I'm just giving you the pointers that you have to keep in mind the important derivations. So you have to just write it down 2 times, 3 times, so that it will be fit in your memory, right? So that you need not think much about it to save your time, right? Time management is very important, so that you can give more time in numericals. Sometimes numericals take more time because calculation is involved, and we need to be very sure that our calculation is accurate, right? So theoretical questions, derivations part. So derivations is very important, and it will have many, I think 30% of the paper, 30 to 40% of the paper is derivations in physics, right? And we already know which derivations are important. We just need to learn them. So 30% is derivations, right? You see 20% is MCQs, right? Then we'll have numerical part, 30% is numerical part, right? 30% is numerical part. And theoretical, this definition type of questions are 20%, right? So this is the whole like pattern we'll have. 20% is MCQs, 30% derivations, 30% numericals, and 20% are theory, right? And the total marks which the exam will have, obviously, you know, that is 70 marks examination you'll be having. And this practical examination, I think it might have been completed in your schools, right? So those 30 marks will also be added in the whole assessment, right? Exam duration would be of 3 hours. 3 hours, you need to complete 70 marks. I'll advise you not to leave any question. No, no question should be left. No question should be left. If you don't know how to solve a numerical, right? Let's say suppose you will get a numerical on electric dipole, right? Electric dipole, but you don't know how to solve it. You don't remember the formula. Just write down anything about electric dipole, but do not leave any question. At least you'll get half mark, right? But if you leave it, no marks, right? So no question. So I'll advise you, you should leave no question. No question should be left, right? Okay. And in these questions, we'll have some internal choices also. That also we'll be talking about, right? So this is what this webinar is all about. The preparation importance, that understanding the exam structure is very crucial for effective preparation and managing your exam time efficiently. So you need to understand the exam structure, which is why this webinar is being held today, right? So from this slide, you must be learning about the derivations is very important. 30% derivations, 20% MCQs, 30% numericals, 20% theoretical. Sometimes in physics exam, students are like, how will I solve numericals? Numericals will, I'm not very much strong in numerical part. But you see, it is only 30%. It is not the whole exam which is asking you the numericals. So this should be in your mind that physics is not only about numericals. There'll be theoretical questions also. There'll be derivations also. Right? All right. So any question from this part?
No, sir.
All right. All right. Vania is saying that eustress has turned into distress. No, no, no. That's why we are having this webinar. No distress. Right? Distress will only lower down your exam, only lower down your marks. If you are be scoring 50 or 60, it will come down to 45, not increase the marks, right? So this psychological management is very important, right? Just be in your zone. Do not discuss many things to many people, right? Just be in your zone in this time. All right. So exam marking scheme, 33 questions. Total questions, 33 questions will come, right? All questions are compulsory. 33 questions will come. All questions are compulsory. Internal choices would be there, right? There will be internal choices. What do I mean by internal choices? So, for example, I have section B. Section B. In section B, we have 5 questions of 2 marks, right? 2 marks, I'll have 5 questions. So, in one of the questions, I'll have internal choice, right? In one of the questions, right? In one of the 5 questions, I'll have internal choice. I'll give 2 questions and one has to be done, right? But 33 questions have to be attempted. All right. So once you'll see the previous year paper, you'll get the idea, right? So 33 questions are there and which are divided into 5 sections. 5 sections, the questions are divided. So 5 sections are A, B, C, D, and E, right? So in section A, you will have your MCQs, 1 marker, right? This is 1 mark. Each question is having 1 mark, right? So 16 questions. So this section is 16 marks. This section is of 16 marks, right? So in this MCQs also, 12 are your MCQs, and MCQs are single option correct. You see, some MCQs are multiple option correct, but this is only single option correct, right? So single option correct, and 4 assertion reasoning, right? You must be aware of the assertion reasoning part. 4 questions are assertion reasoning, right? So in all 16 questions are of 1 mark MCQs pattern. Then we have section B. In section B, we'll have 5 questions of 2 marks. So this section is of 10 marks, right? 2 markers, 5 questions, right? And in one question, you'll have internal choice, right? And then we have section C. In section C, we'll have 3 markers. 3 markers, I have 7 questions, right? So 7 into 3, this section C is for 21 marks, right? Then coming to the section D. So section D, we have 2 case study based questions. What do you mean by case study? You can say paragraph type. Paragraph type. You'll be given a paragraph and then few questions would be asked, right? You'll given a paragraph and then 4 questions would be asked of one mark each, right? So each paragraph is of 4 marks. So this section D is for 8 marks. 2 paragraphs will come. And MCQ type question only will be asked. On the basis of this, you will be asked MCQs only, right? Of one mark each. So 8 MCQs for 2 paragraphs. Getting it? Right? And then we have section E. Section E is of 3 long answer types, right? 5 markers. So 5 into 3, 15 marks is of this. So every student has his or her own strategy, right? Some students, what they do, they start from section E. First they try to do these 5 markers and then but it's different for different people, right? Or what I did in my time, I always started from the start, right? Like start doing the MCQs, then section B, section C. And one more thing, I'll advise that if you're not habitual with doing 5 markers first, or just do with the flow, right? Whatever pattern the exam is giving you, right? Section A first is given, do section A, then section B, and mark your questions like question 2, question 17 you are doing. So mark question 17, right? Very, very important, because the examiner who is checking it, then he'll get confused. And if he'll get confused with regard to your question paper, he'll get distressed. And if he'll get distressed, he'll give you lower marks. Psychological bias will happen and he'll give you lower marks, right?
So what we should do again, can you tell?
I am telling you that just the answer paper, right, the question paper you're solving, no. So do it in a serial wise, right? Question 1, try to do it. Question 1, question 2, question 3, question 5. It should not be like question 17 you are doing, then you are doing question 23, then you are doing question 15, then you are doing question 13. It should not be like that. That's what I'm saying. You should do it serial wise, right? You should write properly that, okay, I am doing section A. So you should write it. Yes, it is section A. So write in the middle of the sheet, section A, right? Then question 1, question 2, right? Question 3, then section B. So write down, yes, I am solving section B. Question 17, question 16. That's what I'm saying. And if you don't know, for example, if you don't know, obviously first it will come question 16, then 17, right? So serial wise I'm saying. So it will be very easier for the examiner and he'll be very happy with your paper, right? That the student has done it serial wise. And if you don't know, no, if you don't know that I don't know the answer of 17, just leave some space. Leave some space there. You just have that idea that the question will require this much space. You leave that space and then you start question number 18. Getting it? And always write down the section and the question number. Very important. All right. And do not do this and if you want to do any rough work, just draw a line, right? So this is the very, very important things, right? Draw a line, draw a rough column and do rough work there. And if you see, if you have, for example, if you've written an answer, and if you now think that the answer is wrong, for example, I have written something, right? I've written something and I think that answer is wrong, right? Don't do this thing, right? Just strike one line. Just I'm saying that if you want to cut an answer, don't cut it like, just strike one thing, just strike one line. कि भाई, yes, this is not correct, right? Question reattempted, right? So these points you just have to keep in mind. Keep your paper neat and clean, right? And serial wise, solve the paper serial wise. Try to solve it. If you can do section wise, right? If you want to do section E first, so write down section E. So do all the questions of section E, then come to, if you want to do then section B, no problem, do section B, and then do all the questions in that section B only, right? Understood? Any question? Just Jasim Shah is saying not when many derivations were asked. No, no, derivations have been asked, right? In 5 markers, you see, there are derivations which are asked. Derivations are asked every year, right? So I'll show you. All right. Then we'll come to the chapter-wise weightage, right? So you see the first two chapters, we have electric charges and fields and electrostatic potential and capacitance, which these two chapters are combined in a topic known as electrostatics, right? So the weightage given by the CBSE only, right? The official weightage of these two chapters are 5 markers, right? So the electrostats is of 10 marks, right? 10 marks weightage is from the this electrostatics, right? You see, two chapters, 10 marks, important. So electrostatics is an important chapter, right? And what are the topics which we need to, which are the core topics that we'll be discussing in the next slide, right? So electrostatics is important, right? In electrostatics, we have a lot of derivations which can be asked. So electrostatics is very important from the point of view of derivations, right? Then we have current electricity. Current electricity has 6 marks, 6 marks weightage, right? And also you need to be aware of the deleted portions, right? You need not waste your time on the deleted portions of every chapter. There are various deleted portions, right? For example, I remember that previous year, I think meter bridge was there, but right now meter bridge is not there,
Yes, so we don't have meter bridge.
right? Right now meter bridge is not there, right? Previous 2 years, potentiometer was there, but potentiometer was deleted last year only, but now meter bridge is also not there, right? But yes, you should know the Wheatstone bridge. You should be aware of the Wheatstone bridge. So deleted portions you should be very aware of, right? So current electricity, 6 marks. Then we have this chapter of magnetism, which is, we can combine two chapters in it, moving charges and magnetism and matter. So combined it is of 11 marks, right? So you see these two chapters, they are very theoretic, very conceptual chapters. These are electrostatics and moving charge and magnetism. They're very conceptual chapters for like we had in 11th as mechanics, right? The same part they play in 12th. So moving charge and magnetism, electrostatics. So these are important chapters. You see combined they are having like 15 to 20 marks of the weightage, right? So moving charge and magnetism and matter, 11 marks. Now magnetism and matter also very like there was Earth's magnetism, but right now that is not there, right? So you need to be aware of the deleted portions. All right. Then we have electromagnetic induction known as EMI, AC, alternating current, and EM waves, right? Combined, these three chapters combined have 10 marks, right? So if you are having, for example, you are having some students get very much difficulty in understanding alternating current. No issues. It is not having very much weightage, right? It is not having, these three chapters combined are having 10 marks weightage. So just my point is that you should be aware of the weightage, the marking scheme, the structure of the exam, so that the distress, the anxiety which you are having, that should not be there, right? You should be aware of that. All right. Then we have optics, right? In optics, you see, optics is very important. Optics, we have 14 marks, 14 marks weightage. And then these three chapters combined are known as the part of modern physics, which if 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 any student in this class is like, sir, I am I'm very much distressed. Which topic I should be focusing on? Which topic I should be focusing on? Like my priority. So that should be modern physics, because this modern physics is easy, very scoring, right, and has a lot of weightage. You see, 4, 8, 12, 12 and 7, you'll have 19. So this modern physics have 19 marks weightage, right? So whole of your 12th can be divided into three topics. One is electromagnetism, right? Electromagnetism is from first chapter electrostatics to EM waves. That is electromagnetism only, right? Then you have optics. So optics, you have 14 marks, and then you have modern physics. Only these three. So the whole 12th physics is divided into these three parts. So modern physics is having 19 marks, right? So you see the leftover marks is of the electromagnetism, right? So you see 10, 20, 26, 27, 37, right? So 37 marks is of the electromagnetism up to EM waves, right? So this is the whole marking scheme. You should be aware of it, right? So you need not focus on the low scoring, like the low weightage topics more. Right? If current electricity, for example, if you're worried about how to solve circuits, leave it. If you don't, if you are not very much comfortable in uh, solving the circuits, leave it for now, because it is not having very much weightage. And in 6 marks, you have drift velocity, you have a combination of cells, you have combination of resistors, you'll have Wheatstone bridge, not only circuits. So that's what my point is. They should not be worried about the lower weightage topics, the lower weightage parts of the syllabus, right? At this point of time. All right. So we'll be discussing all these topics in detail in the coming webinars, right? The core topics, the important numericals, right? What you can leave for now, right? All these things we'll be discussing. All right. Then next slide I'm coming is key derivations. Very important. You should write down key derivation. Only some of it is written in this slide, but I'll be telling you these key derivations in detail in the coming webinars, right? So just this is I'm telling you need to keep in your mind that I have to be aware of the key derivations of each chapter, right? For example, if I'll come to the first chapter, electrostatics, right? So this is having the most derivations, electrostatics. So how many derivations? Which derivations are important in it? Firstly, very important, every year this derivation comes. Every year in any form it will come, right? In some form or the other it will come. Electric field due to an electric dipole. Very, very important. Very, very important. Every year it comes. Right? Electric dipole, you need to find electric field on axial line and one is equatorial line. So this is a key derivation. It can come in 5 marker, it can come in 3 marker, right? Then one more important from this topic is Coulomb's law, but in vector form. It will ask you in vector form. You have to draw the diagram, you have to solve it, right? How I can have force between two charged particles in vector form. It will also, because it is related to what? Superposition principle. So it will ask you something about superposition principle also, right? Next important derivation is applications of Gauss law, right? In applications of Gauss law, it can ask you for infinite wire, it can ask you for plane sheet, infinite plane sheet, it can ask you for spherical shell. Only these three are in your syllabus right now. Not solid sphere is also not in syllabus. Spherical shell they can ask, plane sheet they can ask, infinite wire they can ask. And you need to solve them through Gauss law, application of Gauss law, right? Then we have this electric dipole related derivation, electric dipole placed in uniform external electric field. So you need to find the expression for torque, you need to find the expression for potential energy stored. This potential energy stored question, this potential energy stored derivation came in this 2024 last year in CBSE. I'll just show you the paper, right? Also, one more derivation from electrostatics is electric potential, right? Potential due to an electric dipole, due to electric dipole. So these are five important derivations, and one of them will definitely come this year in 2025. One of them will definitely come from electrostatics, right? So my point is you need to be aware of the key derivations from each chapter. Like for example, if I talk about ray optics, which is the most important derivation, most important derivation is the lens maker's formula. They can ask you the lens maker's formula, right? If I'll say which derivation is, please reply. If I'll say which derivation is important, you find which derivation important from the moving charges and magnetism. Can you please tell anyone? From moving charges and magnetism, which
The
derivation?
magnetic field at the axis of a current carrying circular current carrying to.
Very good. Very, very good. Exactly. Exactly. Right. So from moving charges and magnetism, the most important derivation is magnetic field on the axis of a current carrying circular coil. Right. You have a current carrying circular coil and you need to find the magnetic field at the axis of it. Right. This on the axis of it, you need to find the magnetic field. So this derivation is very important in magnetic moving charges and magnetism. Right. Few chapters have no derivation. For example, nuclei chapter, no derivation. Semiconductors, no derivation. Right. So lots of the chapters have no derivation. For example, YDSC, wave optics, YDSC. Initially there was derivation, but right now derivation has been removed. YDSC, no derivation. Right. In ray optics also you need to be aware of this thing known as optical instruments. Compound microscope, they may tell you to draw the diagram for ray diagram for a compound microscope. So these things, these core topics you should be very aware of, right? All right. So from the derivations point of view, electrostatics, moving charges and magnetism, okay, these topics are important. This will be dealing more in the coming webinars, right? But the point is you should keep in your mind key derivations from each topic, right? All right. Then also this webinar, today's webinar, I want you to take home this very important point of answer presentation. You should be thinking about it, right? I might not tell you the every point, but should be thinking about it, that I have to keep in mind that answer presentation is very important, right? How can I write effective answer, right? So for that, you need to be very clear. Clarity should be important in the form of legible handwriting. Handwriting should be, if you say that, sir, I am not having very good handwriting, no problem. Just give spaces in between, right? If you're giving spaces, then also your handwriting, that neat and clean should be there, right? It should look neat and clean, right? So legible handwriting should be there. So clarity should be there and should have structure in your, like for example, if you're doing numerical, you write given first, write down given and write down what is given, and then you write the formula which you're applying. Like for example, if you're solving for Gauss law, so write down by Gauss law, right? Write down this thing, that by Gauss law, right? This flux is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. So this formula you should write, and then you write the your calculations. So that structure should be structure is very important, right? All right. Then diagrams, you need to incorporate diagrams wherever you can draw diagram, draw it, right? It will impress your examiner, and your whole point in CBSE is to impress your examiner, right? You have to be in your mind that examiner knows nothing. Examiner is a student, and I have to teach the examiner through my answers, right? So well labeled diagrams are important. And then most importantly, do not leave units. Sometimes you solve a question, your answer is correct, but you leave the unit or you put down incorrect unit, right? Always see that if I have to convert if uh, the physical quantities are given in SI units or not. So this units part is very important. You should be aware of in your examination, right? All right, that unit should be mentioned, and you have to convert the given values to appropriate units. All right, more in the coming honors, I'll be telling you more about it, how to present your answers, and I'll be giving you some examples, also some illustrations also. But you just need to keep in your mind this answer presentation thing. All right, then core physics topics will be dealing with it more. We'll be learning about it more in the coming webinars. Like for example, from this electrostatics,
So could
this
you check the chat?
all right. I'll be your question is quite good, right? I'll be taking this question at the end of the webinar, and right, and it's all about the time management part, right? How to manage all these things together, right? And this might be happening with most of the students, so I'll be taking it up, right? Thank you.
Okay, sir.
All right. So in electrostatics, we'll have this Coulomb's law in vector form. I have told you. Then electric dipole is very important. Gauss law is very important. Then these are all the topics. But in these topics also, some parts are important. This is the electrostatic potential is important with respect to the dipole, right? This equipotential surfaces, right? You might get a question on equipotential surfaces, right? Then we have capacitance, but in capacitance, we need not be worried about any derivation, right? In capacitance, we should be focusing on parallel plate capacitors, right? Energy stored. So these are some important topics we must be aware of, right? We should be remembering their formula, the definitions associated, and the derivations, right? Then we have current electricity. In current electricity, we have drift velocity. We have combination of cells. Combination of cells is very important, right? Because combination of resistors you already know from your previous classes, right? And nowadays you see Ohm's law is coming, but in your 12th class, the questions are coming from the limitations part, right? Or the VI characteristics of semiconductors. In Ohm's law, we draw VI characteristic, we draw VI graph, right? But with respect to semiconductors, how it is there, right? The temperature dependence and all. So this so we should be, my point is that we should be aware of, for our effective scoring strategy, for scoring maximum marks, we should be aware of the core topics. This is the point I'm. And then we have magnetism. In magnetism, we are I've written magnetic field due to circular current carrying coil, right? Then we have MCG, moving coil galvanometer, very important. This is also important, and this is in your syllabus. It has not been cut down. Then question also come from force between two parallel current carrying wires, right? So this is also an important topic. In optics, we have lens maker's formula, right? Optical instruments. Then in wave optics, we have Huygens principle. In Huygens principle, sometimes diagrams are to be drawn of wave fronts, right? When I'm taking the individual topics, no, I'll be taking individual topics in the coming webinars, then I'll be telling you elaborately about it, right? Then we have YDSC, no derivation, only the qualitative aspect. And then we have diffraction, right? Single slit, right? Then we have AC and EM waves. In that we have LCR series, transformer also comes sometimes, right? Transformer is important. Displacement current, right? Displacement current, only the concept we should be aware of, right? And the different types of EM waves. In modern physics, photoelectric effect, very important. De Broglie wavelength, Bohr model, okay, binding energy from nuclei, and PN junction from semiconductor electronics. So these are the few topics which are core topics. We can say the core physics topics of modern physics, right? I'll be making you revise these core topics the formula, the associated questions, the important questions, right? The questions from previous year papers, I'll be telling you in the coming webinars. But right now, with respect to every chapter in physics, even chemistry, I'm saying you, in your every subject, physics, chemistry, mathematics, you just try to find out the core topics you should be focusing on, right? Core topics, right? Then how can you like maximize your physics preparation with askIITians? I think you already are the students of askIITians, right? So this need not be elaborated upon more, right? So through practice tests, online coaching, study materials, right, will be helping you in every way possible, right? Then the key takeaways from this webinar, I think we are like about to conclude our session. I'll be taking up questions. So the people who will be having questions, please stay, right? And otherwise you can leave after the end of the session. But I'll be taking up questions after this. Just let me complete this slide part. So key takeaways is from this webinar, familiarize with examination pattern, right? The examination pattern should be in your mind. Just what I have told you, the marking scheme, the weightage, right? The marking scheme, the weightage of different topics, right? What is the examination structure, the sections, right? This should be very much important at this point of time. You should familiarize yourself. Focus on chapter wise weightage, right? So that you, so accordingly, you need to allocate your study time, right? Efficiently. Then master important derivations, master them, write them down 2 times, 3 times, write them down with diagrams so that there would be no scope of even half mark reduction. You'll get uh, right complete marks on that. So concentrate on key derivations as they're crucial for scoring high marks in the exam. Derivations are very crucial. That is the whole point of this webinar of today, right? The core topics, the important derivations. Then practice clear answer presentation, right? Write your answer clearly, concisely, right? And then obviously you can use askIITians resources. Obviously you'll be using it, right? So thank you for this attending this presentation. So if you have any questions, I'll be taking up the question which just Zahid has sent me, right? Yes, I'll be sending you this PDF, no issues. Okay, lastly, just I'll be showing you the paper, like just paper I'll show you. Just let me just show you the paper. Just to have you more idea of it. So are you seeing the screen? You're seeing the paper?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is your 2024 exam, right? This is 2024 exam, right? So you see, as I have told you, just be aware of the examination structure. You will be having 33 questions in all, 5 sections, 1 to 16. Section A, 1 to 16, 1 mark. Section B, 17 to 21, 2 marks. Section C, 22 to 28, 3 marks. Section D, 29 and 30, 4 marks each. Section E, 31 to 33. So I've already told you, just try to be serial wise. Try to write in your answer sheet serial wise, right? Solve question serial wise. All the values which will be like helpful, these values will be helpful in your exam. These will be given, so you need to remember what is the value of mu naught, what is the value of epsilon naught. That will be given, right? Then you see, so this kind section A. So if you write section A, so I'll be solving this exam. I'll be solving this exam in the coming webinar, this 2024 one, right? Right now, I am just showing you the pattern of the exam, right? This way the exam will come. So section A, question 1 will be there, some options, right? 1, 2, 3, right? So this way 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, so up to 12 MCQ, simple MCQs, one single option correct, and no negative marking. No negative marking is there, so you need not leave any question, right? Then we have 4 assertion type. Assertion is given, reason is given. You need to tell if both are correct, right? Both one is incorrect. You know the pattern, right? 13, 14, 15, 16, right? Then starts section B. In section B, you will have 2 marker. So I'll say 17 question, 2 marker. 18th question, also 2 marker, but there's an internal choice that I've been telling you. Internal choice is there. Either you do this one, either you do this one. So it's the internal choice. 18th question you have to do. You can't leave it. 18th question is compulsory, but in 18th question you have an internal choice. You can either do this, you can either do this. Right? So you see numericals are there. So these are numerical type of question. Right? These are numerical type of question. Right? 19th, these are numerical type of question. Right? 20th also is numerical type. 21 you see this is a graphical type of question. Right? Then we have section C, 3 markers. Right? This is also a very typical type of question always comes. Section C, 3 markers. You see, I've told you 23, 3 marker, but internal choice. Internal choice is there. So it is asking you to define current density. So theoretical type of question. Is it a scalar or vector? Theoretical type. Then you will have a little numerical type, right? This is a derivation type of question, right? This derivation, right? Derivation of this current density, right? Then what is Wheatstone bridge? Theoretical type question, right? This is numerical type, 3 marker. Then you see derive an expression. Derivations are very important, right? Derivations will be always there. Someone was saying that 2024 derivations were not there. Derivations have been always there. 30% derivations. 26, right? 3 markers.
Sir, will there be more numericals or more derivations?
There'll be, you see, numericals would be there. Numericals would be like 20%, 25%. Derivations would be 30%, right? 20% theory and 30% this MCQs,
The
right?
numericals normally come in like 3 mark or 5 mark only, right?
2 marker, 2 marker. You see, 2 markers numericals are there.
Not numerical, sorry, derivations.
Derivation 3 marker more, right?
Mm.
You see, like 27, these are theoretical. 3 marker, you see, theoretical part is also mostly there. Theoretical and the theoretical derivations, right? 27, if as I have been telling you, write the drawbacks, right? How did Bohr remove them, right? Then a nuclei question, density of a nucleus is much more than that of an atom. Typical question always comes, the density of the nucleus, right? Then you see we have section D. Section D is also very easy because in section D you will have this comprehension. You will given a comprehension. Lens is a transparent medium and all related to power of a lens. This paragraph is given, and then you have been asked this MCQs, one marker, right? These MCQs are asked.
Yes,
One
sir.
marker MCQs, right? Then one more paragraph, and then MCQs related to it. One marker, right? Then lastly, we have section E. So you see, derive an expression for potential energy of an electric dipole, as I have told you. Electric dipole is very important. One derivation will definitely come, whether related to electric field, electric potential, external uniform electric field, torque, anything. Electric dipole is very important. One derivation will definitely come. So you see, this is 5 marker, right? So this derivation is of 3 marks, and this second numerical is of 2 marks. This way, the mark distribution would be there, right? This is in 5 markers. In every question, you will have internal choice. Every question. So either you do this, either you do this. One derivation, one numerical. One derivation, one numerical. Right? Derive an expression for the impedance of the circuit. Derivation, one theoretical question. right? Transformer you see, or question from the transformer, complete transformer, 5 marker. Diagram you have to draw, right? This theoretical question, then you have this numerical question, right? Also, you see this is also important from the numerical part. This is the derivation part. Angle of minimum deviation in ray optics. You have this derivation of angle of minimum deviation. How to find the refractive index with respect to the minimum deviation angle, right? Prism part. Then Huygens principle. So derivations theoretic. So just my point is that you need not worry yourself with that numerical will, that there will be more numericals. Numericals will be there. Numericals will be there. No, not every question is of numerical. Theoretical part is also there. Derivation is also there, right? And then you see in 5 marker internal choices in every question, right? Then
Also,
all
there are more theory questions.
there will be a mix. No, I can't say that there will be more theoretical. I have told you in this presentation that there will be what I have told you. No, you just keep in your mind this thing. 30% derivations. 30% derivations will come, right? 20% theoretical. 20% theoretical, right? 30% numericals and 20% MCQs, right? So this is the whole pattern. Yes, in MCQs also there are there are numericals and there are theoretical, right? But this is the pattern, right? 30% derivations, 20% theory, 30% numericals, 20% MCQs, right? Also, one more thing, lastly, I need to tell you is just be aware of the syllabus. So this is the syllabus. This is from the official website, right? So I'll be sharing with this with you this also, right? You need to be aware of the syllabus part, right? So for example, you see here in Gauss theorem applications, only you have infinitely long straight wire, uniformly charged infinite plane sheet, and uniformly charged thin spherical shell. Field inside and outside. Nothing else you need not do. Nothing else. Right? So stick to the syllabus. Stick to the syllabus. Stick to the CBSE previous year papers. Right? You need not do many books at this point of time. Just be thoroughly engaged with the CBSE previous year papers. Right? Okay. All right. Now I'll be taking some questions. Thank you for listening to the presentation. I'll be very happy if you all, and it will be very helpful for you if you attending the coming webinars, right? We'll be looking at the detailing of each topic, right? The important numericals, the important derivations, right? The previous year questions. Stick to, I am again and again telling you at this point of time, spend your time with CBSE PYQs. CBSE PYQs, nothing else, nothing else. Just stick to CBSE PYQs because that only will give you the idea of the pattern. That will only give you the level of preparation required, right? All right. Okay. Now this Zahid has asked me that now you have completed your theory. Now you are asking how should they target and add the solving sample papers. All right. So sample papers, PYQs, and reading of NCERT and its questions simultaneously, right? And how do you find target high level questions? All right. So with regard to your first part of the question is, right, how to deal with the solving sample papers, PYQs, and NCERT exercises at one point of time, right? So at this point of time, as you see, only 20 days are left, right? Only 20 days you can say are left, 20, 25 days are left. So I'll advise you stick with first priority. You have to prioritize, right? So first, initially, prioritize with CBSE previous year papers. So Zaid, have you done any previous year paper?
Sir, yes, 2024, like I have done two, three.
You have done 2, 3 questions.
Two, three question papers, sir.
2, 3 question paper you have done, right? All right. So I'll advise you to at least do, right? If you are like, at least do uh, 5 to 6 papers more, right?
Yes, sir.
Previous year papers, 5 to 6 papers more. Like for example, you can do from 2015 up to 2024. This target you can have, right? Yeah, not 2015, 2016 you can start, right? It's 8 to 9 papers and revise them. Just not do them once, revise them also. Because you see, many questions will get repeated even because all the derivations will be covered, because all the derivations have been covered in these previous year papers, right? So stick to previous year papers for now. Leave sample papers. Sample papers, if you want to do sample papers, no, just do 2024 wala, right? This
Yes,
the
sir.
official one, the
Yes, sir.
official one, the official one you do, right? Sample papers, if you want to do the recent ones. I'll advise
Yes, sir.
that
I'll be targeting the recent ones. Like I have the 2023 and 2024 one.
just do that 2023 and 2024, right? Because everything you can't do, no, because the time limitation, you have like lots of subjects. And with respect to NCRT exercises, from NCRT exercises, you can leave them if you want, but in NCRT, I'll advise you to focus on the examples.
Yes, sir. I've been doing the examples. Sir, what I find the thing in NCRT is that the exercise questions are like they're very easy.
Exactly. That's why I'm telling you that the paper, the examination pattern, the exams sometimes ask directly from the solved examples, right? So in NCRT, focus on solved examples, and then if you find time, you can just do the difficult question, right? The more good questions of the back exercises, which you find good, right? Not every question is required, but I'm telling you that not much time you have, right? If practically you'll be able to do this only, no, you'll be sorted, right? You'll be sorted, right? These papers you do, just do this thing and just revise the solved examples. You need not even solve them completely, just have a look, because those are already solved. Just have a look on them. Getting it?
Yes, sir. Getting it, sir.
Right. And the next question you are asking, that how to go about the difficult, right? How to find the difficult questions. You need not find the difficult questions right now. Not the time to find difficult questions. Just do the previous year papers and do the difficult questions in these previous year papers only.
Okay, sir.
Right. Just focus on these previous year papers. Need not, you please, my advice is not to search for the extra books right now, right? No book is
Yes, sir.
required, just stick to the NCRT and previous year papers, right?
Yes, sir.
And revise them only, right? So limited resources, keep your resources limited, very important at this time, right?
Yes, sir. Understood.
All right.
Sir, sir, I'm mostly targeting PYQs, these sample papers, and NCRT only.
Right. And in that also prioritize previous year papers.
Yes, sir. Previous year papers.
Prioritize that, right? Because that only will give you the idea. Because if you have solved these 10 years, no, so when you will sit down with the like your real exam, when it will come, you will be like, yeah, I have already done them, right? The pattern you'll be very much aware of, right? You'll not feel that overwhelming experience. Okay, anything else? Like any question? I'll be taking questions. Yes, please. How to prepare for MCQs? For preparing MCQs, I'll advise to do the previous year papers only, right? In previous year papers, you have, I think 16 questions you have. If you will do 10 papers, you will have 160 questions. So in 160 questions, you will get the idea how to go about the MCQs. Right now, my point is right now, don't go for any extra book, any new book, which you have not done uh, this year, right? So MCQs, just start with looking at 2024 exam. Just see that if I'm able to solve it or not, right? That what is the level of the questions they are asking. It is not JEE mains, it is not NEET type, right? It will be CBSE level only, NCRT level only. So you'll be comfortable with it if you are comfortable with the NCRT part, right? Aditya is asking what is more important, PYQ or previous year paper. Aditya, PYQ and previous year paper are the same. Previous year question, PYQ means previous year questions. Previous year questions are from previous year papers only, right? So if you are solving previous year papers, you are solving previous year questions only, right? So you can have previous year questions chapter wise also. You have those books also. You'll get that material also. Previous year questions chapter wise. So you'll get electrostatics previous year questions. Otherwise, as you have completed your whole syllabus, right? You must have done that because February has come. So you should go for previous year paper directly. You should see the 2024 paper. You should see 2023 paper, and you can start to solve them.
Okay,
Right?
sir.
Right. So for MCQs, I have said that start from solving 2024 paper, right? And in the coming webinars, I'll be telling you more about it. We'll be solving them, so that then only you'll get the idea, right? What is the level they are asking and how should go about it. But do not leave any MCQs because there's no negative marking here, right? And be very thorough with your theory because the questions are asked from theory part and numerical part. So if you have prepared your theory effectively, if you have practiced enough numericals, there will be no problem in solving MCQs, right? Just prepare your content. All right. Anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for attending this session. And I'll be happy to see you, right, in the coming webinars to have more effective interaction on different topics now, right? So I think the next session is for dual nature and radiation. The modern physics will be discussing. In modern physics, we'll be discussing the core topics, we'll be discussing the important derivations, we'll be discussing the previous year questions from those topics, right? So it will be an effective session, it will be an for you, right? So I'll be happy to see you there, right? So thank you. So I'll be concluding this session now. You can leave the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.